What is going on, comic fans? Welcome to the Legion of Comics. This is Sunday night. That means this is at Week's End. We are going to be deep diving on the most recent episode of Ahsoka, talking new comics news, spoilers, and reviews, as well as drawing for the September Legion Loot winner, as well as the CGC 9.8 Catwoman slab going to the winner for the Migrated Comic Collection series. It's a stacked show. Bring your theories, bring your queries. This is at Week's End. In the front, but big shout out to Big Time Collectibles. Be sure to follow them. It's New York City Comic-Con season, so you're missing out on greatness if you're not following them on social media or checking out their website. And if you need anything clean to press, hit up my friend Justin over on Instagram. Let him know that you found him through the channel and take advantage of the special offers that are running. And as always, a huge shout out to ABX Comics and Games. Oh, he almost had it. There, he's got it. If you're ever in the Augusta area, be sure to check them out. And also, as a reminder, channel membership is live and a fantastic way to support the channel and get you loyalty badges next to your name, as well as access to custom emojis. And a huge shout out to the 80+ members of the Legion. I can't thank you all enough. We'll be doing the appreciation prize for you guys tonight, so don't go anywhere. That wheel is set and ready to spin. Don't forget, set your calendars, mark your dates, because Comics Curing Cancer is coming hot and fast. And got a ton of people supporting that, ton of people setting up streams, including our very own Comic Man Andy right here. And if you didn't know, you can already support it by picking up a copy of Unnatural Order from djlink/bigcartel.com. These were donated by the Comic Mint with cover art donated by Matt Wilson. Only $20 a pop. Be sure to check that out. There's one person I know that loves variants. It's definitely my guy Beckerman right here. And lastly, but not least, I would love to give a huge thank you to all the Legionnaires who voted for the channel and made it a finalist in numerous categories. Be sure to go check out cbcawards.org. Vote for and support a lot of community members. You don't have to vote for me, but you do have to vote for Sector 2815. And if there's anybody who's going to vote because they know their vote matters, it's my guy, Aggressive Relaxing. How are you all doing tonight?
I am so glad I didn't have to do that tonight.
Yeah, I figured I'd just like work the introductions in with it. How did that work?
Good. Bring your theories, bring your queries. That could be your new tagline.
Yeah, I don't know. I just ramble, man. That's just what happened. I wanted to say bring your theories, and what else came with queries? That's perfect. Just run it. So let's say hey to the chat real quick. We're going to go through it fast. We got ABX Comics and Games in here. What is happening, Paul Las Crucias? You got beat, my guy. Paul came in quick. But I hope you're still doing good. I hope you're feeling okay. If you're not first in the chat, I almost feel like sending the officers out there to do a wellness check. X11 Bravo is in the building. What is happening? Hope you guys ever seen someone stomp out a flamingo bag of dog. What?
Flaming, what? Not flamingo.
I see flamingos everywhere. Thank you. Red 03, what is happening? Heard nerds are talking about Star Wars over here. Hi, I'm Mike. What is going on, my dude? Hope you're having a good night. Pops Attic is in the building. Cliff on Comics. Hope you're doing good tonight. Esfon82 is in the building. Much love from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Comic Vet, what is happening? Shout out to Chris. Hope you're doing good tonight. Trev, the shipping guru. Hello, hello. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, the 2-year anniversary. Boom, look at that. That's probably the first one of those milestones I've seen. It has to be, it's October 1st, so I think this is the date that I turned on the channel memberships. Not just like to the month, but I think today is the day, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. We got a $5 super chat from the man, the myth, the legend, Evil's Comics. Only thing this episode was missing was a cameo from our Lord and Savior, Jar Jar Binks. Cannot argue that. J-Med is in the building. What is up? Jar Jar was a Sith. Changed my mind. Digger Jim, what is happening? Hope you're doing good tonight. William Wilson is in the building. Jeremy Reeves, what it do? What is up? What is happening? Collecting with Durs, what is up, homie? Wheelchair Superhero 87 is in the building. Hello, hello. Evil's Comics again. Flash Ray, what is up, brother? How are you doing? Scrolling. If I miss you, I apologize, but do not forget, I'm not sorry. Ryan Riley, hope you're doing good tonight. Last week's new DC Day winner right there won 3 fantastic variants and 3 hand-selected DC trading cards that Monkey picked out herself for the pack. So, yeah, let's get into it here. We have a fantastic show, a huge episode to talk about. In full transparency, I invited this joker right here, Mr. Beckerman, to be on panel last week with the option, do you want to come on last week or this week? And he hand-selected this week, banking on this episode delivering more to talk about. So we have Beckerman here with Aggressive Relaxing. We have a this should get interesting to see how this goes. I'm excited to get into it. Let's do it.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm just
They
happy to
that
be
was
here.
it, everybody.
Attica.
I appreciate everybody coming to talk Star Wars with us. It was a great show. No, but for real, this was a dope episode. We had a lot to break down in this episode. We saw the full rollout of Ezra in this episode. We get to see more than just what Becker did there, the hi and pause, because that was pretty much the intro that we got of him last week. But somehow that felt like it was very fulfilling all the same. But yeah, tons to talk about. Ahsoka was actually in this one, and let's get into it. Paul, I see you.
It was good to see some old friends.
Aww.
You know,
Oh, I see what you did there.
yeah. Obviously, C-3PO. We saw Anakin again. Even though it was, on the flashback, obviously, but it was good to see Anthony Daniels back as C-3PO and bringing the message from. And we got name checked with Senator Leia Organa. So we got that as well. So I'm not convinced we're not going to get a Luke Skywalker thing before the end of this.
I'm always
don't
happy to
see
see
it.
more Luke.
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
starting to lean towards all these people are going to be stranded on this planet.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen, but I think true to the Star Wars model, the good guys will lose season 1. Not everything's going to go as planned. Unfortunately, I really don't think Balin's story wraps up. I think they got to recast him. I don't know if they are willing to do that, but I think he needs to be recasted.
19 months here from House of L Comics. Huge supporter of the channel. Appreciate that, brother. Yeah, so y'all want to break down Balin's little part of this episode?
What's
So,
he looking for?
He's the
Balin
most
was sent
interesting
out with
person,
Ren
right?
to track down Ezra and Sabine and finish them off when Sabine finds Ezra. Along the way, we get a little bit of dialogue with him and Ren that was kind of like revealing. Like he has this young lady with him who's like his apprentice, and he kind of says his goodbyes to her and gives her like one last little piece of advice that don't rush into battle. It's a surefire way to lose, and says his goodbye while she goes down to confront Ezra and Sabine. So what was that all about? Like what's with the soft goodbyes?
And it was what he was. There was he was name checked later on by Thrawn, so there's something definitely going on with Balin. I think he's looking for Skywalkers. That's what I think he's looking for.
Skywalker's not gone yet, though.
Andy, weigh in. What are you thinking about Balin?
I mean, to wipe him out, I think.
It seems like such a gamble, and it seems like a very far, like Hail Mary pass, but I still kind of feel like Balin's searching for that greater power that we kind of talked a little bit about last week that the Night Sisters are running from. Now that greater power, what is that vessel? I mean, it could be just about anything, but I still kind of want to lean towards more towards God. What's that character's name? Aggressive. We were talking about that last week.
Khajet?
Yeah, Khajet. I kind of want to see a little bit more about that, and like what you guys had said about the typical fashion of good guys losing season 1, then big massive cliffhanger. They're stuck on this planet with Balin and this released energy or this released god that Balin's going for, and it's cliffhanger. I don't know if that's
where are the male Zabrak too.
Ooh.
Chris, what do you think Balin is hunting?
Dolphins? No, wait. That would be the Buffalo Bills, and they were successful.
Oh God!
That was Chris's contribution. So happy to have him here.
Mm.
No, so Ryan Riley says Balin is confused about his situation. To be honest with you, I think Balin is the only person not confused. I think he's the only person with a clear-cut motive that just does not have anything to do with the other people surrounding him.
He is looking for something, though.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. He's laser focused on his. Yeah, he's laser focused. We got a 23-month membership from Flash Ray. Man, huge supporter, huge shout out. Thank you so much.
I still think that adding some mystical element to this on the cliffhanger side of things is going to help bring us a little bit more knowledge or understanding of where the Night Sisters come from, how their powers came to be, something further on down the line in a different season or set of movies, but leaving us here at there really is a greater mystical power in the Star Wars universe is a possibility. I don't know if I put all my coins in that bag, so to speak, and it's not necessarily a hill I'm going to die on. I think it would make for a really epic cliffhanger, though. Good guys lose, get stuck, and then there's this impending doom that we don't know yet.
We got a 24-month member milestone here from Flo Dameron. Huge shout out. Thank you so much. And he says, huge panel, hashtag We Are Legion. Be sure to find him on the Bada Boom podcast. He just interviewed the writer for the upcoming Godzilla Kong Justice League crossover. Be sure to check that out.
I listened to that.
Yep, that's good.
How do you do the membership badges? I think I'm 2 weeks in. So the membership badges get added to your name when you hit subscribe, it turns into a button that says join. If you don't see it, you might have to switch to a browser or Safari or whatever. Sometimes it doesn't pop up in the app or vice versa, but it's the channel membership program. You hit that and just check out the details. And yeah.
That's good to be back on this show.
Welcome back, Chris. There's one thing that I do want to touch on because there was some great memes. There were some great little GIFs that took to the internet after last week, and they were pretty much on the topic of Thrawn has to do something for us diehard fans that know what he's capable of. They felt like he's been introduced, now flex. Now do something Thrawnish. Show us why you're so scary. Show us who you are. Look, we got 23-month milestone from Comic Man Andy saying, I'm just here for Mark's OnlyFans. You can also find my OF vicariously through that join button. Just touch it with just the tip. Use your finger. Jesus. But I feel like this episode actually did exactly that. They actually flexed Thrawn. We get introduced to a little bit of his tactics when Ahsoka shows up all Pinocchio style to a minefield where he was prepared and ready for, as well at the end of the episode when their forces are pretty much defeated and Thrawn shows that he was expecting that. He knew it was coming. Not only that, he doesn't care because he shows them like, look, we're almost fully loaded. They're across the planet. Now will not be interrupted during our departure. Plan worked perfect. I'm like, yo, dope. So what y'all think of the Thrawnishness of this episode?
Yeah, and he definitely also he showed there is definitely something going on with all of those, for lack of a better term, floating coffins. Because he brought that back up again this week, and said that he's almost finished loading all of them, and then he'll be ready to go wherever it is that he wants to go.
I still feel like, they're very coffin-y. I agree. Those things. The Night Sisters are famous for doing dark magic to zombies.
Necro.
Yeah, so it makes sense that these are some form of super zombie that they're counting on to help them with whatever their future goals are. And the one thing I did like, I don't feel like Thrawn is displaying the brilliance that we see in the books. A lot of people for a very long time have said there's two Thrawns. There's the Thrawn we see in Rebels, and then there's the Thrawn we see in the books. The books are more thought out. It's Timothy Zahn working on something that he loves so much and he's able to dedicate hours and hours to, versus, the Disney XD show where he was the bad guy. So I understand.
Right.
But like one of the things I really liked was I felt like there was a callback to classic Star Wars. Han Solo flies into the asteroids and you see Darth Vader just throwing men at it. Like, just go get them. I don't care. You're seeing like Star Destroyers get hit, TIE fighters be taken out. And we see the same thing again. Someone flies into debris and he's like, no, pull the guys back.
Thrawn predicted based on who her master was. He was like, oh, well, she'll be impulsive.
Well, to that point, that was a fantastic chase scene. And right after we watched it, me and Paul had a little comment back and forth. I said, I never thought I'd say, did you see the high-speed chase through the planetary rings comprised of the carcasses of space whales? Yet here we are. That was fantastic. It was fantastic.
Did anybody, not to completely change where we're at in the show, but did anybody expect to see Zeb at Hera's trial, essentially, or her court martial? I thought they would have, and if not Zeb, I thought Agent Callus.
Oh, yeah, the mutton chops.
Callback. Old mutton chops.
Mutton chops, yeah. I just not long ago watched the episode where him and Zeb were marooned together on the ice planet.
And that ends up with him becoming Fulcrum. So he would be a part of the New Republic.
You did just ruin one of the better moments for Mark, but it's true.
I did it on purpose. Mark knows what he has.
This is a full spoiler show, and I'm years behind, so anything's
Yeah.
fair game with
He
Rebel.
would have done it to me in a
It
second.
is what it is. Yes.
So
Ryan Riley
get
says he didn't seem too phased about Ahsoka's master being Anakin. I thought he was actually taken back by it. He seemed as phased as Thrawn might be, in my opinion. He's like, what?
Yeah.
Like I thought he's worried now about Ahsoka.
I think he was delighted to learn something about her because he was like, oh, well.
Okay.
The way this show's set up is pretty funny because like there's fights that happen, but really there's like 4 different groups that they're all just running errands on this planet, and they want each other to stay away from each other so they can finish what they're doing. There's some people that want to bring home Ezra. There's some people that want to protect the world from Thrawn. Thrawn's trying to do a thing. The Night Sisters are trying to do a thing. Balin's got his own thing going on. And none of them really want to, there's like, stay away from me. I'm doing a thing. And it's pretty funny that like they keep having fights, but then just go their separate ways because like, look, like I'm too busy to do this right now. I got things to do.
Huge plot threads going on. And Paul makes a good point with this 24-month member milestone. He said, thinking we're just going to get a huge cliffhanger next week.
Yeah, I don't really think that we're going to get a lot of resolution of anything. I think that they're, and you know what? At least now, starting tomorrow morning, people can start writing this stupid movie. So that we'll have to wait for.
And
To that point, does anybody have any idea how long the finale is going to be?
I tried to look it up. I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything yet.
No, they've been keeping it quiet.
So what do you guys think? Is anybody getting back to the main galaxy? I do see that happening, but I see somebody getting left behind. And for some reason, I think it's just going to be one person, and I really feel like it's going to be Sabine.
That's where I think the cliffhanger is going to be. Thrawn getting back. That's where the cliffhanger is going to be.
I agree.
Thrawn definitely gets back. I don't know about everybody else.
I think Thrawn gets back and unleashes just start of a massive battle where it's have a heavy casualty because they've had their head in the sand. But I do want to say Mickelson is performing as a high rank. I'm used to in my career, and I'm sure Andy's the same way dealing with generals, never admirals, because I wasn't at sea. But he is performing excellent as that thoughtful tactician that nothing seems to be phasing him, other than that one moment where it's like, oh, Anakin Skywalker trained you? Okay. And then just his casualty, like changing the deal. Well, if they don't arrive back, it doesn't matter. Like, I thought he's been terrific. Like, no complaints for him, other than I know everyone's kind of antsy for him or for his ship to start blowing stuff up. But hey, I think he's performed well. They've written the character very well as a military person that's dealing with incredible tacticians, where he's just loading up his ship in the meantime, but playing a quiet game of chess with playing multiple chessboards and winning it all at the same time.
We were talking about that last week too. He's much more maniacal and dangerous as this almost too stoic type thing than he is running around screaming at people type of a general.
Like the best Thrawn stories gives you the same feeling that like a Ocean's 11 gives you when you finish reading it, or like like a heist movie where you're like, oh wow, that was just so brilliantly clever. And we have not gotten that from him yet, and I just can't help but feel I'm terrified for our heroes, because I feel like no matter what, that's what has to happen, is a punch that makes people go, oh wow, Thrawn. He no matter what was going to win. So that's what I'm expecting.
Had so long to plan.
Yeah, I personally think, not to jump in on this, but I'm thinking all the heroes get left behind. It'll be Balin falls at the end of it, obviously, and then I think all the heroes get left behind, and the final strike is Thrawn destroying all their starships, and then he's just gone.
Do we really think Balin's going to fall at the end, though?
No?
I don't think that was the plan. I think based on what we're seeing, he was they had big plans for him being season 2.
Yeah, what if he was like what they were going to build up? Because aggressively relaxing mentioned like all of this is working toward creating a villain for Rey. Like Rey needs a villain. What if Balin was the intended villain? And this was like his start at finding a great power that he could actually be some form of villain, trying to restore what he perceives as order to the universe, balance to the universe. That'd have been wild.
Well, there's a couple different stories of evil Force users who, once they are dead, become like evil specters that will haunt something like a mask or a lightsaber. And when you hold on to it, it starts, speaking to you or taking you over. And I feel like that is kind of the story we're looking at with Balin. And no disrespect to his amazing performance or the actor, but in Star Wars, you always are one, cool mask away from a Sith. So you could always just...
They did a whole thing in Darth Vader with that, right? In the Darth Vader comic with that.
Oh yeah, definitely. With I can't remember the evil guy's name right now, but yeah, the mask.
Yeah.
Dr. Aphra was recently taken over by another interesting ancient evil that was trying to recreate the Force with technology. I can't remember what they're called right now.
The Spark Eternal.
Thank you. Yeah.
Eternal Spark or Spark Eternal.
Thanks to Spark Eternal. Yeah.
And speaking of Eternal, the Eternal Throne storyline from the Old Republic really, I don't know. There's just been stuff I've been seeing that reminds me of all of that.
Like what?
The symbol underneath Thrawn's ship looks like the symbol for the Eternal Throne.
Oh, the Chimera?
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was just like hip and like cool paint jobs.
Yeah. Well, it looks suspiciously like the
gang signs.
Yeah, Chris. He was starting a whole West Side Story scenario. He got so bored being secluded.
He always keeps a fat paint job on.
I know Dave Filoni likes Old Republic, the video game, and he's thrown us Easter eggs before. So,
what did y'all think of Ezra? Like, this was our real introduction to Ezra and getting to see the live action version of Ezra. What was your take on that?
I froze as soon as that camera panned. I'm like, this is it. I can tell just by the music and the speed of the camera, this is happening. And I think they did a wonderful job. And it's just the only tidbit that kind of caught me a little bit is his hair isn't that light shade of blue that they use in animation for the hair, dark-haired individuals to stick out a little bit more. They do that specifically for the animated shows, not necessarily that they intended for him to have blue hair. But I think he's doing a wonderful job. I think he's fitting in quite well. And I think this is just that hermit hippie version of Ezra that we've gotten after 10 years of, and this is, I want to get a closer look at his chainmail. Oh my God.
Yeah, I was about to say, Mike made the comment that his chainmail is comprised of the dog tags made up of stormtrooper dog tags. I didn't even know that stormtroopers had dog tags.
I have heard that before, and people will say that they don't have dog tags, but you do see that they have, what I think you would describe as dog tags when the Imperial pilots have them, because you see that in Alphabet Squadron, the book, the one character keeps her tags for like a very long time. But yeah, that's an interesting thought, and I think kind of dark for the Ezra we're seeing, honestly. I am thrilled that Ezra hasn't turned dark, that he's just stayed true to who that character was 10 years ago. I am internally impressed by that. I felt like he would have been turned by Thrawn and would have joined him, being convinced that it's the right thing to do because of the greater good thing Thrawn's always talking about. So yeah, I'm just really impressed that he stayed a little happy hippie and is just I always judge Jedi by their depression period, and Ezra is just the best. He stayed super happy and cool. And one of my favorite things ever is stopping a lightsaber with a bare hand.
Oh, that was super cool.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think the first time we see that,
the energy of the lightsaber itself being pushed back
right,
as well.
Yeah.
It started getting out of focus and everything. What y'all think of him not wanting to hold a lightsaber? I mean, I've seen some online theories of like he's just out of practice or he doesn't feel like it belongs to him kind of thing, but he doesn't necessarily come from that background of training where it's like, oh, that's not my lightsaber. I better not touch it.
Well, it's not even necessarily that. It's you spend 10 years becoming comfortable with the fighting style and fending for yourself. You're introducing a tool to him that he's not really familiar with anymore, even though the audience see it as a tool that he should be familiar with. It's not. 10 years later, it's just practical for him to say, no, thanks, I've got this. I've been fighting these raiders barehanded a long time, and it shows.
Yeah.
The guy who started his Star Wars fighting with a slingshot, upgraded to a lightsaber / pistol, and then finally got a proper lightsaber.
And now he's raw dogging it.
I thought he was the best character to be introduced this way since the Asian man in Rogue One that would often recite that he was one with the Force.
That was Donnie Yen. Yeah.
Right. I thought it was right on that same level of just a fantastic type of character.
Yeah, ironically, he wasn't Force sensitive and it cost him his life.
Right. But what I'm saying is the most interesting character that way when they speak of the Force, almost like it's a partner walking with them.
I feel like we're setting up a sweet moment for Hu Yang to be like, oh, by the way, this was Kanan's lightsaber. You should have it on the. I'm really looking forward.
Why would Hu Yang have it though? Like I might be out of the loop on something here.
Is that huge collection of lightsabers in the back there?
He's got a lot of them.
I would not be surprised if he could have something that's a connection to his master, or like I was saying on the other show the other day, the lineage of Ezra. He comes from Mace Windu. Trained the person who trained Kanan, who trained him. So like, there's a big long line of like Jedi. He could, the music swells, and he's like, "Here's a lightsaber from someone in the past." And I
just feel, at some point we're going to see Hu Yang use a lightsaber, right? He's going to go full Grievous. Use several at once.
You need to give him the chopper and see what happens. He can hold him.
I did like his little boxing style.
We did have a little bit of content with Chopper, and they kind of closed off what would have been a plot thread that like was left hanging with Hera and not listening to the orders given to her by the Republic people to come on in. And so she had to answer for that in front of the Council of Idiots, and they weren't listening, and they gave us our little member berry of C-3PO coming in just to use him as plot armor and kill that plot point for us while paying a little bit of a fandom fuel, just bringing C-3PO in. I personally thought it was cheap. It's C-3PO, cool. Like he's one of like the longest standing characters, been in like the most live action content kind of stuff, but it felt cheap to me. I'm like, like I get you don't want to spring for Leia likeness and stuff and have them do that, but I just felt like it was just a cheap way to kill a plot thread. They could have just been like, yo, look, here's the intel. I guess she was telling the truth, and like you didn't need it.
Well, one of those Council of Idiots was Admiral Akbar.
Right.
Well, he's an idiot.
And what's his face from Resistance's dad?
To be fair, didn't the Thrawn book, Heir to the Empire, start off with the fact that his race of people are idiots, and that's how Thrawn was able to topple them like that, just by looking at their art collection? Like, that's confirmed. He's an idiot.
That's what Thrawn does, though. He can treat anyone like an idiot.
Yeah, what y'all think of the C-3PO cameo?
I didn't mind it. I'm a sucker for those things. It's like, you know what? If Filoni thinks that it's a good way to do something, I gotta trust Filoni.
Well,
it was
cowboy hats in the mail.
I'm eternally grateful for just giving me images to make memes out of Chopper in a courtroom setting. That was just brilliant. So
that was one of my favorite memes going around this past week. Was we were that close to potentially seeing like a Chopper court martial.
Oh yeah, and like do y'all think he cusses? Like I feel like this robot.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh,
every
yeah.
time,
Yes.
Come
every
on.
time he
He's
talks,
like R2.
like I'm looking around the room. Like, am I the only one hearing this?
F-bombs
Yeah.
every other word.
Yeah, every other word. This dude's a savage.
As far as C3PO, I felt it was a letdown. I think he could have done a much better scene with Callus in the C3PO spot.
That would have been cool. And I do feel like they like just like this show is servicing the Rebel stuff. Like, Disney likes to tie into the stuff that they've been working on, rightfully so.
Mhm.
It makes sense to try to make something of it. And that other Star Wars animated show, I feel like this scene was used heavily to spotlight that show with that council member who is really the focus of it, who is really pushing back against Hera. Apparently, him and his kid or something are big players in that other cartoon that nobody watched.
Yeah, I've seen it. He's because I questioned you about the timeline. I was like, really? He should be the kid shouldn't be born yet, or the kid wouldn't be born yet, and he looks kind of old, but okay.
But I do want to just point out, like when I saw C3PO, I thought to myself, the only C3 that matters is C3 October 20th through 22nd. Mark your calendars. The streams are set. You can find the kickoff stream right here on the show. Turn on notifications. It's going to be phenomenal. Go to Andy's channel. You can find his live stream already set. Hit that button. Chris is going to be doing a preview show, like Nick's Kicks and Comicx will have a preview show leading into that week. There'll be tons of stuff going on. Everybody get prepared. It's going down.
Does
You see the
anybody
excitement on that young man's face? It's going down.
He's so happy.
He is.
It's infectious.
I personally like the C3PO showing up just because I really thought they're going to try and do Leia, and I just thought like I was fingers crossed they weren't going to go there. I just didn't think they needed to do that. So the fact that he came as a Governor General type or the voice of Leia is something that I liked that way. Some people, if they didn't like it because it was actually C3PO, okay. But he, to me, is the character that we know that represents the voice of her. If she's not there, since now he's affiliated with her at this point in time in the saga. So I was okay with it myself.
And it was to me, it was totally true to character, right? Like at first they wouldn't let him in, right? Even though he's C3PO, they wouldn't let him in, right?
Well,
Rightfully so, he's super annoying. Dude, he
paraphrase,
used to be a great character when I was a kid too.
I was gonna say, like Dr. Dre says, like he started this Star Wars stuff, and this is the thanks he gets.
Right.
Come on, guys, it's C3PO.
It's true.
Yeah, I was thrilled. Yeah, and I love the storyline of evil senator doing what he's told. Like obviously, like you said, he still has a long time to carry water for the Empire, obviously, before his son is born and becomes a hero in the show Resistance, which I do recommend. I like it.
It's not good.
But we can discuss that. But like I'm a big fan of it. But I do love the through line of guy carries water for the Empire probably for like over a decade. And then for all of his trouble, he gets his planet blown up by the first
Well, they
Empire.
used his planet as a headquarters, which at first I think probably felt like an honor until, the First Order.
My wife wants you to see Finn's napkin. She does his lunchbox napkins, as a lot of y'all know, with his sight words.
When will my order be complete?
I don't know. You have to talk to her about that, Becker.
Kyle.
All I'll say about Resistance is we see a character join the Empire, and it makes sense to the
Where are my napkins?
Audience, and that's pretty cool.
She's so proud of herself. Rightfully so. She's become a fantastic artist drawing napkins since the beginning of the school years. Godzilla half the time, Star Wars the other half of the time.
If anyone needs encouragement during the work week, it's right here.
It's that guy.
And I was willing to pay for it. I was going to commission.
You're in HR. You're supposed to be the guy that uplifts everyone else. What are you talking about?
No. I'm not uplifting at all.
The one thing we haven't hit on about this Ahsoka show is Ahsoka.
Mhm.
She's back.
She was in it too.
She was in it this time. Which
She ain't getting off that She ain't getting off that planet.
yeah, I thought it was cool seeing her. I'll be honest with you guys, I was tense as hell when she squared off against Balin because I'm like, please don't kill Balin. Please don't let him just be a random character this year just to die at the hand of our lead to elevate them. And I was very happy with how her part was handled.
Yeah, the wonderful reversal of roles. When they last met, she was desperate for something, and he defeated her. And now at this one, he's desperate for something, and she's able to get what she wants.
I don't feel like she defeated him. They hit the point. He's like, you can't beat me. She goes, yeah, pretty much, but I can run. And she just takes off. I'm like, yes, you better run.
We're all doing our own thing on this planet later.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like
So
that Balin never
name of the show
wanted
from
to kill her.
Ahsoka to Rebels Reunion. Yeah, I think that Ahsoka was a great selling point, but I mean, it's just right. Like, I mean, in the timeline of all these people's stories, that there's no way to do Ahsoka without these other characters. I picked one up.
Well, this is really the show where years of disjointed stories are coming together. There's so many things being referenced and being influenced by the story. I can't wait to see what happens. I really believe that basically everyone is going to be, because like what we were talking about at the very beginning of this, what it's going to come down to is, will the ending matter practically or magically? Will something practical happen that the actual government of these worlds need to worry about? A warmonger has returned and is, doing war, or is it going to be the return of some, great evil monster at the end we have to deal with? Which one will they give us? Is practical or magical? I'm not sure.
Well, you're our magic expert. What do you think? I mean, it feels like magic. There's something in those coffins. We have not seen a single male Zabrak. I'm assuming they're all dead. I'm assuming they are an undead army, which we've seen before.
Yeah. Does this planet consist of these three chicks? Like a bunch of bodies that they've held on to for a while? Like, yeah,
the turtle people
guys would come back.
That's kind of the whole Night Sisters of Dathomir gimmick, They never really go away as long as there's spooky green flames around.
Yeah, I don't think they've built up Khajet enough to do anything with it. I mean, maybe they feel like enough people have played the video games to be like, oh yeah, it's Zepho magic. All right, cool, whatever.
What if instead of building up Khajet, Balin finds a true source of the Force, like what Khajet did? What if Balin finds it and then becomes contorted and becomes that prime evil, and then they don't really have to, they recast him, but structurally or image wise, he's either in a mask like you guys were talking about, or like Khajet horribly misfigured to the point where it doesn't even look like Ray Stevenson's anymore.
That's what they're going to have to do.
I wonder. I mean, because obviously the terrible thing, the passing of Ray Stevenson was unexpected, and nobody saw that coming. So he's written through the show, acted through the show. Whatever was going to happen is going to happen. They didn't go back and change that. So cliffhanger it is until season 2 or a movie, right? I mean,
and like you guys were saying, they do love KOTOR and the teasing of that. So, this could all just end with a big Revan tease as well.
Now, what is KOTOR?
Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
That is the...
I feel like it can tie into that real easy. I feel like it can tie into the Zepho too. Go, Andy.
Sorry, like Beckerman, bro, like did anybody else hear about this past weekend? They pulled all of the tweets and they like made all of the KOTOR stuff private. Like it's all pulled.
The what?
All of the preview stuff, all of the tweets, everything from Star Wars has all been pulled from Knights of the Old Republic. So what the hell happened? I just remembered I was reading about that. All of the social media posts and videos and everything have gone private or been pulled.
Last I heard, they weren't doing the remake.
Correct. That's what
are y'all talking about? I'm lost now.
one of the most famous RPG Star Wars games, and probably RPG video games, period, was Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. It features a character called Revan, who can be good or bad.
Does that have to do with like the half-face cover?
That's Darth Nihilus.
Yeah, he hangs out with that guy.
Yeah, okay. Revan's got the Mandalorian style mask.
There were some comics too. Dark Horse did some comics that were really good.
I'm reading the comics again right now.
So now, what did they do with all this stuff about this video game on Twitter? And
well, famously, Revan just leaves.
He goes to the Eternal Empire. He's held as a prisoner of that emperor for 400 years. Then he comes back into the Battle of Rishi 1. Or Rishi Prime Station or whatever. I don't remember the names. I'm terrible. My memory sucks. I apologize.
Confirmed. Did he come back as Revan or Darth Revan at that point then?
He's Revan. Just Revan. Not, okay. So both sides are trying to kill him, essentially.
Okay.
The Republic and the Sith. Revan is awesome. He has a huge cult following.
Well, mine was a girl.
Yours was a girl?
Yeah, mine was a good...
How progressive. That makes it weird that he had a child with Satele Shan.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, no, Satele was the granddaughter.
Bastille.
Bastila Shan. I agree, Esteban. Knights of the Old Republic is lit.
There's always, in that, the events of that happened exactly 1,000 years before, Rey and Dam. So...
Yeah, but it seems like they've haven't they put all their eggs in this High Republic basket instead?
They could. And to go to my earlier point, Mark, when I said the symbol of the Eternal Empire looked like it was on the bottom of Thrawn's ship, that's where Revan went. Was the Eternal Empire. That's why I thought there was maybe something going on there. He left the galaxy, went to a new galaxy, never to be seen again.
So weren't they doing, you guys correct me if I'm remembering this wrong, like a third installment of the game or a show or something to that effect, and all of the tweets and all the clips and all the stuff that was talking about that, just this past like 4 or 5 days, they made it all private and pulled it all.
Yep.
Leading the fandom to believe that that's been completely shut down.
That's really interesting. I hadn't heard all that, but I did hear a couple months ago they weren't doing it anymore.
Yeah, they announced a couple of canceled projects since we started talking about Ahsoka, and one of them was the Taika Waititi Star Wars project because they were reaching out to, like, the studio was reaching out to him saying, "Hey, what are we going to do about this?" He's like, "Well, I got a beginning, middle. I don't know what I need to do for. I got a beginning and end. I don't know what I'm going to do for the middle. Basically, I don't know nothing because I know what you told me where I start and where I finish, but I don't know nothing. I need some holiday time to really inspire me." And they're like, "Screw off," and they fired him. And then the one that I was really excited for, the film that they announced at Star Wars Day, one of the 3, we have the Rey film, 10 years in the future from where we left her. We have the finale film to the D+ shows, and we had the Origin of the Force movie that was a main goal was attached to direct it. That got shut down. So now we're at this point, we're at more canceled Disney Star Wars movies than released products, period. They've canceled more than they've released. It's
good.
It's wild.
Good quality over quantity. We want quality content.
Not I hope that they keep canceling stuff and they look at the reception of what's left of the fandom and they say, "Dave, what should we do?" That's what they need to do, is ask the guy with the cowboy hat.
All hail
that's
Filoni.
A new rule to live by.
Because they still have 2 shows already filmed, I think, right? They have or at least one. They have Skeleton Crew, which is supposed to be the next one.
I've never even heard of that.
And then they have Acolyte, which is set in the High Republic, I think, right?
Right, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, have either of those actually gone into production, though?
The Skeleton Crew is all filmed, as far as I know. That's supposed to come out within a couple of months, I think.
Yeah. It's got a trailer, even.
Yeah.
What? How am I not even? I didn't even heard of it till last week when y'all brought it up. That's crazy.
It's got what's his name in it?
Jude Law.
Thank you. Yeah.
Wasn't Nihilus then a part of the High Republic, like the main villain for X amount of time during the High Republic?
For the Old Republic.
Old Republic. Okay.
Yes, definitely.
Thanks, AR. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, the High Republic or the Old Republic is 1,000 years
Right.
before this. High Republic's like 400 years before this, and they have been teasing ideas from the Old Republic in the High Republic, slowly making things canon. And there's been some other Revan stuff made canon by um, visual dictionaries for Star Wars. That's kind of like the biggest of the proof that Revan still exists. But it's not called Darth Revan, so it could be the good version, could be the bad version. We don't know what they'll do with it. But the idea that the Zepho have been setting up temples throughout all of these places, and it's been seen in a best-selling game and seen in some of the books, and the idea that there's a guy named Kujet on this planet who has written on his temple, "Long may he reign." This could be the person who imprisoned Revan in what will be the new continuity, and that could be what Balin's releasing. So, like, that's kind of, the Hail Mary of connecting all of these things.
Which makes kind of sense. Balin.
But this is wild speculation.
Yeah, wild speculation. But it would make sense that a guy like Balin would appreciate a hero or villain, however you look at him. He would appreciate somebody like Revan who has been on both sides of it and said, nah, I'm good. I want to go my own way. And wait, the last time we saw Revan, what color was his lightsaber? Orange?
That's right.
Yeah.
Showing that, a reverence possibly for this character. Because,
I feel like Balin would see a lot of wisdom in the life of Revan.
Yeah, the way he behaves is someone who is trying not to improve his dark meter or his light meter in a video game, it would seem. He's riding the middle there, it's true. And that was the fun fact.
Or you could not. I mean, there could be a ship that lands at the end when whoever gets stranded behind, and all of a sudden a green bunny comes out and we get Jackson. Who knows?
Jackson,
yes.
It could go anyway, man. Like,
Game changer.
What do y'all think of this? Balin releasing the imprisoned son?
Could be.
I think they're all dead. And Anakin has taken his spot in the greater force. And that's kind of what we were seeing when he brought Ahsoka to the World Between Worlds in Episode 5. So I think the son, the daughter, I think they're under the power of Anakin now. He has brought balance to the Force, is what they were trying to tell us with 5. And you can go back and watch the Mortis arc in Clone Wars to learn more about what we're talking about here. Do you think
anybody dies in this last episode?
Ooh. Yeah, I'm with Andy.
Maybe Ahsoka.
They're going to do any deaths or anything. I think that they would save it for the finale, and we know that this is the appetizer.
Just think of how many millions of dollars they'd lose in
marketing,
toys and marketing if they kill off Sabine or Ezra or anybody. Ahsoka. I mean,
and to that point, I think that's why we haven't seen Zeb yet. I think they're like saving him for what's coming next, even to expand it. Not reduce it.
I don't necessarily know if we need Ahsoka to tell the Rebel story that comes next.
True.
I could see.
This could be just a chapter in the book, right?
Ahsoka I could see her dying in the last episode, and then walking off with Force Ghost Anakin, and he's like, "You did good, Snips. I'm proud of you." And then
I think they've already established like she's beyond the whole death thing. Like we've already ventured, like just from a storytelling perspective. Not saying that wouldn't be cool from like just seeing it play out like that, but I think that they already gave us that little thing with Ahsoka, and she's like above it.
I just feel like her story's done. I don't think she has anything left to prove.
Do you think there'd be a big pushback from fandom the way that there was when they did Luke dirty that way? If they killed Ahsoka off in her own her own series.
God.
Disney Filoni wouldn't kill her off. I mean, this might just be a chapter in the larger book of Star Wars over the next 10 years, and we occasionally she gets spotlight here and there, or pops in for a movie or pops in for another show. I mean, like, who owns Ahsoka? Who owns the property? They're not gonna kill off the strongest female lead that Star Wars has ever seen.
And they're definitely not. I don't think anyway. They're definitely not going to kill her off before her and Thrawn share a scene together.
Yeah,
True.
yeah.
I wonder what the drop our jaw moment's going to be in the last episode.
Let's be honest, guys. It's probably going to be a cameo appearance of someone from the 9 films.
I don't know. I would expect to see Ahsoka running through an army of stormtroopers to get to Thrawn, and not making it to him. You know what I mean? Like trying, because we know they're far away. They're almost done loading. They're not done yet. She has a ship that, that's ready and available to get them to Thrawn. It's going to be that moment. We got to stop him before he takes off. I think it's going to be like a mad dash, epic battle, them trying to get there to shut him down from leaving. And I think he's going to leave, like middle finger flying at her as she's almost there kind of moment,
Captain Rex, maybe?
We got Rex already.
Well, where's Thrawn going?
Home.
Well, that's to the Chiss Ascendancy.
No, I just mean like back to the galaxy he came
Coruscant?
Yeah.
You heading right for Coruscant?
Yeah, just go wait there. Everything will work.
Drop a few bombs and keep going.
Because, even he has to show back up, let the remnants know that, I'm back in charge. We all are going to rally in, the outer rim planet somewhere. And then we're going to attempt to take back over because I desperately need enough power to save my people. And I don't know if he wants to pick that fight strategically. Where does he go really? Is it that he goes running back to the Emperor because he understands that he's alive still? Because we see that there is this larger plan of people trying to work on the cloning technology in the Mandalorian. So it's time. So yeah, where does he go to let let those 9 people that we saw as holograms representing the remnants, to bring them all back into the fold as one large unit?
I mean, being the tactician that he is, the first thing he's probably going to do is go for resources, right? I mean, he does not have enough resources to tackle or face anybody. Just pop right into Coruscant or another major planet or major system. He's gonna weasel his way in. He's gonna get there, but he's gonna hide. I think he's gonna hide.
Yeah, he's still showing back up with 1 Star Destroyer and having to deal with whatever you think of the diminished Rebellion or New Republic. It's still an army led by Luke Skywalker and the like. So you can't just show back up and start rolling things off the back, of his name.
Yeah.
So where does he go? And it does seem like this whole show ends with a light speed. Someone gets away and other people are on the planet going, oh no. But who is it? Or does it end in a giant cloud of like red smoke as a ancient Sith deity rises to power and says like, oh, this is all mine, and all of the Ahsoka and them realize they have to destroy the hyperspace ring because we can't let any of these people get back.
When in the trailer that they did for this, it shows Thrawn on the bridge of the hyperspace ring bridge. We know he's going to get on that ship.
Oh no, you're right.
So what does that mean for where they're loading up all this cargo? Like, we know there's that scene where he's walking onto the bridge and we get the camera view from behind him, and that's kind of like a fixed thing. Like, is his starship going to is he going to hook up to it, or is he even taking his starship? Like,
it would go in the middle of it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I figure like a giant version
of the hyperspace rings around the Jedi starfighter.
Yeah,
exactly. It looks just like Obi-Wan's, but huge.
Yeah, big enough for a Star Destroyer.
Yeah,
I guess it just always looks small because it's in space.
It'll fit in those 2 little slits on the other side of the Star Destroyer.
Yeah, there's plenty of holes for it to go through.
This sounds so dirty. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, we're hitting the hour mark. Y'all got anything else y'all want to hit on this? I want to try to keep it pushing because I got to show off this Legion loot. I've got the wheel ready to spin for that, and then we're going to talk some more comics news and spoilers and all that stuff. There's some really cool stuff to touch on. We have a secondary giveaway of the Catwoman 9.8 from the Migrated comic collection. So if you have not checked out the videos I did, there was 13 of them. It was a video series. It's all in a playlist, Migrated comic collection. You check those videos out. For every video that you let me know what your favorite book out of the episode was and the hashtag We Are Legion, that's a potential entry into that giveaway. And we're going to do that tonight as well. But I want to wrap up the Ahsoka stuff for now and try to touch on this. So final thoughts.
Can't wait for next week.
Same. We're really excited.
Yeah, we're in
Where
the
the
end
male Zabrak.
I got a bad, but I got to be honest with you. I got a bad feeling about this.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Go get him, kid. It'll be okay.
Yeah, that whole
right.
council dies, right? I was thinking about that. That whole council, Admiral Akbar, all of them died from Starkiller Base blowing it up, right?
All right, I'm out of here.
Ren did it, didn't he?
I don't know.
You folks have a good night.
All right, Becker, appreciate you hopping
I'm
on.
gonna go.
fun talking
I'm
Star
gonna go
Wars.
team that wins Super Bowls.
Chris, that was directed at you.
Yeah, he's playing a Mickey Mouse team, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, is this fantasy or real life?
Both.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is what's in this month's Legion loot. For those that don't know, I do a monthly prize for the channel members in the Legion tier. Just as like a thank you. A big shout out to the homies over at Big Time Collectibles. They always send some goodies over for me to pass out to the community and throw in these things. And these are the books that are in this month from Big Time Collectibles. We have that beautiful Darth Vader, black, white, and red. We have a Miko Suwayon, Something is Killing the Children, also
Gorgeous.
black, white, and red.
Gorgeous.
John Jang, Wakanda Forever #1 from the Marvel Voices series. Some Miko Deadpool goodness. And that amazing Lucio Perillo Ghost Rider super exclusive they did on a Whatnot stream. So those are all in it, as well as the legal burning pieces of Ghost Rider and some Chibi Venom. So big shout out to Legal Burning. If you're not following him on social media, definitely do that. He hand burns art on books, skateboards, all kinds of stuff. But then we have the first appearance of Gambit in X-Men Annual 14. First appearance of Bishop in X-Men 282, and a second appearance with a gold background. I don't see the second appearance much. It was Batman Day this month, so we have Batman 423, that Todd McFarlane cover. I believe this one's a third print.
Gorgeous.
We have some Alan Qua Berserker goodness signed by the writer Matt Kent. I had him sign that at Heroes Con. It was awesome getting to meet him. And we have that John Stewart War Journal #1, brand new series with the John Jang variant. And you couldn't not put this in here. The Nicolas Cage variant for World's Finest. That is just too fun to pass up. So I got a few of those. So I got one for in here. These keep showing up at my house, so I'm going to keep giving them away. We have the foil ASM 300. People like shiny stuff, so we'll get it out there. Celebrating Batman Day still with that Jim Lee foil Batman in a Comic Clear backer board, so you can see the Batman Day edition on the back. My exclusive that I did with the homies in the Illuminati crew, the Austin LeMay variant for the Savage Samurai. Beautiful book, and this one is number 48 of 100, and you have the exclusive Sav sticker in there. Liam Sharp's masterpiece, Starhenge. I swear by this story and the artwork in it, so I bought numerous ones. This is the last one I have to give away, so if you don't win this one tonight, you're going to have to buy your own. And then lastly, from 1981, keeping with the Batman Day month theme, we have a 9.4 Brave and the Bold, issue number 180, featuring Batman and the Spectre. So all of those are going to one lucky winner. I feel like it's a decent prize.
Yeah, man, the Gambit alone.
The Gambit alone did it, huh? So we're going to share my screen here because I got to get this wheel going, and then I have to change the wheel to the next thing. All right, here we go. Is that showing up? Let's see. Add it to the stream. There we go. So, as a reminder, huge shout out to the channel members. You can hit that join button down below and become a channel member today. It's a great way to support the channel. It all goes right back into the channel, obviously, as you can see from that. And yeah, it's just a way to support the channel. My way of saying thank you in return is doing as much as I can to give it back to you guys. So let's spin this and see who's going to be this month's winner. Spin that biatch. Kidrano Prince. Huge shout out to him. If y'all ever see when I post on Instagram and have the stands with the comics, he 3D printed those. He's got a channel here on YouTube where he does like live streams of card games, of digital card games and stuff. I think it's called Marvel Snap. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, awesome guy. So huge congrats to Kid Rano. I'll reach out to him. Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't know he did that, Stan. I'll have to follow him.
Yeah. He's got some of the biggest hands on YouTube as well.
Yes, he does. You remember when Chris? You remember when he first?
You can palm a comic book and just hold it up like that.
Wow.
Yeah, this Stan that's back here holding this slab, and he's right here. He's awesome. Fantastic dude. So while I get this other wheel, I have to get rid of that wheel and build another wheel for the slab giveaway. It's just worked out that way that it landed on the same night. But let's welcome Chris back to At Week's End. Chris, how you been?
Good. I'm glad to be back. 2/3 of the tripod here.
Yeah,
Chris.
Ryan's still out there.
Chris, you seen this week's Void Rivals?
I heard about it. I heard about it.
Yeah, here we go.
I heard about it. I heard the book is good, the ending is great, and the letters section is legendary.
Yeah, I went into my comic book store a little bit late. A bunch of my stuff didn't show up on Wednesday, so I had to come in Thursday, and everything had been picked over, but I had to buy this issue for $15 even, just because I had to
get a ratio.
Yeah, I had to. So
Worth every penny.
it is what it is. Had to pull the trigger on it.
For those that don't know, this was a fantastic issue, but Chris himself has a little what are they called? Like where you
So
write?
yeah. So I just wrote a letter to the editor, and
Editor, there it is.
and I'm sure everyone knows about it, that this has been going on since the dawn of comic books. You can write in or whatever, and for a while I just been email blasting Marvel about Spider-Man. And for some reason, because I've been unhappy about it, they haven't been publishing any letters. So I decided, hey, you know what? Void Rivals has been really good. They keep plugging an email, so I decided to send something off. And sure enough, for those that are watching, if you have a copy of Void Rivals, if you open up towards the back, there's actually 4 pages of letters, but on the spread of the letters, my letter is actually at the bottom of the second page and goes to the top of the third page. And they actually, when I ask a question, they actually tie the question into that. They say it ties directly into Transformers 1, and that being Jetfire arrives in Transformers 1. I've read Transformers 1, and they are not lying. Jetfire is all over this issue. And he's only going to be in that issue too. That's it.
But you got an early copy of Transformers 1?
Yeah.
You son of a biscuit.
Hey man,
But just as a reminder, this is a spoiler show, but not for books that aren't out yet. So don't be a dick. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people excited for that book. Let's not be a dick.
How did you get an early copy to that?
Well, I know this little shop about 75 kilometers due west of Toronto. 55
miles. When you're
wait, it's not here. It's not here.
Just go to your LCS and hang out there. And when
so yeah, I went Saturday and I checked, and I just went in to see Chris and his wife Kelly at Retro Rocket Comics. And he's like, "Hey man, I got some early books," and I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, let me flip through and just put it in my pull box." And one of those books was Transformers.
You lucky.
So I flipped through it, and then I stopped, and I'm like, I have to read this. I can't just, this is not a book where you just kind of want to flip through it. You want to sit down, you want to light a cigar, you want to have a drink. Paul, you know what I'm talking about? You want to have a drink and cigar, you want to stop, You can enjoy Daniel Warren Johnson for the master that he is, and that is truly it's one of those books where you just like, oh my god, I got to flip back to page 1 and go again. So yeah.
By the way, I checked, Chris, and Void Rivals #4 is still not in Key Collector due to your letter.
You got to give it about a week. Okay.
Okay.
Give it about a week. If I show up on your show, it's going to be easy. Mark's going to be like, "Is it Void Rivals 4?"
Exactly.
But yeah, Void Rivals. I've been enjoying it. I know some
So
people
there's something really interesting about like Void Rivals that me and Pops were even talking about, just kind of like the time frame of everything. Because with Void Rivals #1, they show Jetfire, they show him waking up, and they show him as somebody who's been sitting there out of commission for eons. But then when you get to this issue of Void Rivals, our little Transformer Easter egg was Shockwave on Cybertron in charge. Which, if you get to the original stuff, when Megatron and the Autobots got lost in space and landed on Earth, they that left Shockwave in charge in Megatron's seat. So it makes you wonder, timeline-wise, where Void Rivals is, because Jetfire gets created down the line, but this is Daniel Warren Johnson reimagining and like recreating it, and kind of wondering if Jetfire is a big throw-off, or if the Shockwave thing is a throw-off. Or we know that with any of the Transformer solicitations, covers, or anything we've seen, they haven't even teased Megatron yet, but we're getting little nuggets of Shockwave. So it's a lot of questions to be answered of what Daniel Warren Johnson is going to do and how they're going to play the story out differently. I'm massively excited for it. As far as the Void Rival story in there, it was fun. Our two main characters made it back home to their warring planets, and it's very predictable, but it doesn't take any of the enjoyment out of it. We find out that the leader of the two planets are completely aware of the big secret that these two races know each other, in cahoots with each other, and are in fact the same race, pretty much. Looks like
one of them is the son of one of the rulers.
Yeah, the one that's in captive is the son of the ruler. Now he's scheduled for execution, and even his dad's like, I can't help him, kill him. I don't care. Like, yo, really? Kind of a dick move there, Pop.
Yeah, that's brutal.
He's not winning Father of the Year.
I don't think so. All right, I've got all this stuff queued up. So for those that don't know, big shout out to Wheelchair Superhero 87, who's already a channel member. Looks like it just renewed. My man's been rocking channel membership for a hot minute, unless he upgraded. He might have upgraded. So I've got the new wheel set. I had to go in and put some numbers in it. There are 13 videos in the My Graded Comic Collection video series on my channel. You can go back through the videos, or you can just go to the playlist and find them all. In just a few minutes here, I'm going to spin this wheel. The wheel has 13 numbers on it. Whichever one we land on, we're pulling a comment from that video. I got the comment picker set up. I got my page pulled up. So we're going to be doing that here shortly. So if you haven't increased your odds at winning that slab, feel free to do so, or feel free not to do so. Either way, doesn't matter to me. Just throwing that out there. Andy, did you hear what James Gunn said this week? He said that nothing that happens before Creatures Commando is hard canon in the upcoming DCU. And in the same week, he said that Blue Beetle, Peacemaker, and Amanda Waller are hard canon in the DCU.
The only three, and the only three that will be played by the people that are currently playing them.
So win. At least that's 3 wins. There's a lot left out there, but we're fastly approaching the last installment in the DCEU with Aquaman coming hot and heavy real fast. And it's kind of unfortunate that they might be kind of dunking on that, like making these announcements and running some people's interest off. But it all is happening at the end of the writer strike. They've been sitting here waiting to make announcements, waiting to talk about this stuff. And the writer strike has officially wrapped up. And as Paul mentioned earlier, starting tomorrow, they get to put pen on paper.
Yeah, it's been ratified. Let's be honest. Again, they have an American treasure in Viola Davis, and he would be insane to let her go. I think I would be done with.
I mean, we feel that way, but and we talk about it often how Amanda Waller isn't like a household name for a DC villain character, but she really just
yet
she really just
Miles Morales wasn't a household name 10 years ago either, but yet here we are.
Yeah,
give it time.
Blue Beetle, Peacemaker, and Amanda Waller.
Mm-hmm.
He better include Vigilante in there.
Yeah, dude, I hope so. There's no wrong time to rock.
Eagly.
So what other, like, now that the writer strike over, I don't think I've seen anybody else posting news, announcements, stuff they were sitting on. It was just that, but admittedly, I don't follow everything.
The only other thing I saw was pictures of the actor that's been hired to play Superman is really buffing up.
Mhm.
Corn sweat?
Yes. There were some pictures of him, and he's looking
He's
looking like
hard getting used to that.
like he's getting it's going to be a big kid.
It needs to be. Did anybody else? I checked out a brand new movie that came out on Hulu. I think it released on September 22nd, but I just watched it this week, and I watched it twice, once myself and once with the kids. And that was interesting to do. But there was no bad words in it. As a matter of fact, there were no words in it. It's called No One Will Save You. It was this twisted Alien Pleasantville type movie that was just absolutely phenomenal, shocked me in every way imaginable. Was it just a great film? Y'all hear anything about it?
No.
Well, I highly
Other
suggest it.
than, I think I saw an Instagram reel from Poe. I think he said that it was excellent. Go out and watch it, but I didn't know much about it.
Oh, I'm gonna check it out now. That sounds cool.
Yeah, so the whole concept about it is this girl, she's alone, literally no words in the movie, and it works out. It tells a beautiful story. Like, you completely get sucked in, and you see that she's ostracized by this small town, and you don't know why. You find out through flashbacks early on, or not flashbacks, her visiting her mother's grave. You find out early on her mother died recently. You don't know why she's ostracized. You come to find out through the movie, but the movie takes off like 20 minutes in, like full Signs. Like the finale of Signs is like the moment 20 minutes in, and it is wild. And then from there, you're just absolutely sucked in. And the ending was just magnificent the way they handled it. No, see, Ryan says No One Will Save You was awesome. Didn't realize there was no dialogue for a while. Yeah, you don't even think about it. You're just like, you're so invested into it.
Can we get a color grading on this, please?
Yeah, let me pull it up for you, bud.
Has anyone seen the movie Nandor Fodor and the Talking Mongoose?
You're gonna have to go up. Right, no. Right. You go up mid green, man. This is solid mid green. Up. Yep, right there. It's a solid 8.5, man. It's a solid green. Okay. Solid green.
So it's not a orange down there.
Not orange. Not orange. Not even yellow. It's
okay.
It's
so
solid
it's not lime. It's green. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Crayola.
Green. Now check that out. Yeah, Simon Pegg put together a new movie, Nandor Fodor and the Talking Mongoose. And what was cool about this was that it was crowd-funded, right? You could give money to it and get put inside the credits. Mm-hmm. So it was a crowd-funded, big film. And they got it together, and it's come out now. And I'm in the credits. I need you guys to buy this movie. I'm losing my shirt. Like, they're tearing it apart in the trades, man. This is the first movie I ever helped produce, and it's a nightmare. I need everyone to go check
we're
this
plugging
out,
the hell out of your comic book, man. We're doing everything we can.
Questions, AR, where can people find it, and how the hell do we spell it?
It's Nandor Fodor and the Talking Mongoose.
Come on, Mark. How do you not know Nandor Fodor? How to spell it?
Just the way it sounds.
This is a famous real
spelling, huh?
Based on a true story.
Sounds
the Talking Mongoose, man.
You can buy it through Apple or through Prime Video right now. That's it. I need you guys to get out there. It's not doing well, and we put a lot of money into this. Anyway,
it's got a raving 47%.
Yeah, I've been watching that, Mark. And if anyone happens to have a Rotten Tomatoes account,
you can help him out as well.
Anyway, the other big thing for this week for me was this comic, Day of Blood. Yes. It starred Shax, who's just this amazing badass from Starfleet. He's just like one of the scariest Starfleet ever. And in this, he goes on a secret mission to the Klingon homeworld, beats up like 100 Klingons, and then rides the spaceship out on the top of it. It's amazing. It's one of the greatest comics I've ever read. Shax is incredible. And this is definitely my pick of the week.
Nice. Andy, what do you got for a pick of the week?
I don't have a pick of the week because I have everything sitting here still trying to get to reading everything and get caught up. I really don't.
Andy, I love it. I will say what wasn't my pick of the week was Flash 1, which was actually a huge letdown, man. This was not it. I was so excited for this. I'm still excited for what can happen. We have a new creative team, and it feels like Cy Spurrier took this one issue to go ahead and rid himself of all past story threads. It was like he was almost trying to touch on every little thing that Jeremy Adams built and go ahead and like redirect it. He didn't mess it up in any way, but you know, you're picking up where another writer left off. So he's like, all right, I have these big ideas, so I need to go and mention all this stuff and shift into our story. So I'm really hoping that it takes off, but it felt like we were moving at a snail's pace through a Flash book, which is not the feeling you want to get. So that was a huge letdown.
I had a tie for probably best book of the week. The tie between Action Comics and the Penguin #2.
Pick of the week, Penguin #2. Phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. I was a little bit bummed that they didn't go back to where they left off at issue #1, but I'm assuming, I mean, I know he's working towards that. But yeah, I mean, it to show how Cobblepot was just like I'll never trust two dudes one cup ever again.
Hey, my pick was all right.
To show just how diabolical and just mean and just really kind of crazy Cobblepot can really be when he wants to be, you know. And it was incredible. It was a great read.
Yeah, it was cool seeing how, you know, he doesn't have the physical stature to pull something off. At least you don't think he does. And then he absolutely slaughters an entire house of 28 employees working for probably the deadliest man in Gotham. Like, the help single-handedly, like, rock Ted Core. Like, this guy is insane capable, and Cobblepot's not backing down. And the way he absolutely took everything from him on a psychological level, and he kept going back to come back to work. This lifestyle, this ain't you. This isn't you. And by the end of it, he left him with no choice. Like, come back to work because that's all you have left. Well, I'm like, yo, that was great. Like, what a good book. Chris, did you read anything worth anything?
So you would probably presume that Void Rivals would be my hot pick, but I gotta go with 1A, 1B, 1A being Action Comics, 1B being Thor 2. Johnson can't do any wrong, man. Like, for years, I felt like years ago, Mark and myself were just bitching about Superman. And I'm at the point now I'm bitching about other characters because Superman has been made whole. And Action Comics starts off with a new arc here. Everyone, I'm sure you can still go pick up this book and or at least pick it up for this great Steve Beach cover.
Yeah, Steve Beach is crushing it.
It's Action
Didn't
Comics.
That have one of the best comic book introductions you've seen ever? Like, it took me away. For those who don't know, it has like this candid moment of Superman sitting on some steel rail with a worker who's a guy that he busted years ago, who's reformed and back to work, and they're just having like a talk, having lunch, eating lunch out of their little lunch pail, and if after talking about the family, he's like, you know, you don't have to check in on me, right? You know, I'm doing all right. And Superman's like, I'm not checking in on you. I just want to have lunch with my friend. And it just really shows you how everybody matters to this guy. And then you turn the page after this fantastic scene and you get a cinematic intro with actual movie reel edging on the panels and everything of just taking you through. You could feel the motion. It felt like a Richard Lester moment of Superman 3, like where just stuff is happening in Metropolis. It's a busy, bustling, positive vibe-filling city, and you're just into the book. You're like, okay, that was great.
And that scene where Superman changes from Superman to Clark going through the back of the taxi.
Yeah,
that reminded me of two things. It reminded me of Superman, you know, the Downer would have done something like that. But then also that reminded me of the old 70s and 80s. That's a classic Kurt Swan type of a thing that he would have drawn, I think.
Yeah, it's just been so good. This particular issue I really enjoyed. They moved away from, the father, like Kal-El being the dad and everything, where it's just him being Superman again. And the part like Mark talked about, that's part of the whole damn book. Even though it's setting up the next arc, and you have two additional backstories again that are actually really good as well. Thor was good. Ron V's Detective Comics is really good as well. It's just interesting that the two non-franchise character books in Detective Comics and Action Comics
I will say that
did better than the two number ones I got dropped, The Flash and Power Girl.
I'll say Detective was greatly hindered by this hiatus for Night Terrors, because we're getting back into it, and it wasn't like it was a drop-off pickup point. You're back into like this moment where Batman got hit with like that magical resin that puts a demon in you kind of thing, and he's like in it. So it's not a jump on point, and it's actually like you got to like kind of like refresh yourself and pace yourself through it kind of thing.
Yeah. But Action Comics is a can't miss for me right now as a Superman fan. If you're not a Superman fan, I get it, but this is the Superman that we've been clamoring for a number of years. So it's good to see that his writing is right on par with what Batman's has been forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and and to Mark's point, I think he's doing this thing where he's basically setting up this whole story is like this big opera, and it's like, okay, you know what? Right when it was getting good, there was an intermission, and that was the 2 months for Night Terror, and it's like you can't just jump back into it.
Big shout out to Austin LeMay. We just gave away one of your variants, bro. My wife just yelled Austin over Peach.
Yeah, I think the Penguin show, I think that it's not done filming. I think it got stopped because of the strike.
Right.
So they'll get back to it, but we gotta get the actors back now.
Yeah. So also, I do want to bring to everybody's attention, for those of you that are much like me, that are excited about the crossover comic event of the year, which is Justice League versus King Kong versus Godzilla. They started building the hype in comic stores this week with variants. Only doing 2 variants a week going into it. Action and Detective had a beautiful connecting set. And next week it'll be Batman and Shazam will have a connecting set with like a blue theme to it and everything. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. Just wanted to bring that up for those of you that might be like me.
Do you want to know who I hope wins?
The readers.
Okay. Godzilla.
Andy nodded.
Godzilla.
Andy, who do you hope wins in this eternal struggle of monsters and gods?
I don't think I can handle that much monster dong walking around on the earth.
Yeah. He definitely has an Audi.
Tripod.
Yeah, tripod.
I ain't thought of that.
Yeah, like I watched that creator interview on the Bada Boom podcast that Flo Dameron did, and he talked to the writer, and like he confirmed that these are not the only legendary monsters that will be present in this book. So it's clearly the classic formula, the one that you want to see, where your favorite creations fight and duke it out, and then they come together like butt cheeks to fight together against a bigger, badder villain, and they make it clap. I'd like to see Mothra show up. That'd be dope. But I'm thinking like we're gonna get Ghidorah, right?
Yes. Mecha
It's cliche. We're working with cliches here, and Ghidorah's the Lex Luthor. Ghidorah's the Doomsday. I don't know. We'll see.
Godzilla versus Doomsday. Oh my God! Yes.
Doomsday would just destroy him.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Superman.
Superman will just destroy him, and Doomsday can destroy Superman.
In the end, dude, Superman beats them all. Okay.
So Cliff on Comicx says, I'm hearing legendary monster D, and I'm not disappointed. Yeah. Hashtag Cliff can take it. Jeremy Reeves said, I hope Spider-Man wins.
I really liked
waiting for a Harley Quinn Barbie crossover.
Versus Godzilla. That was a good series. So I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. So real quick, I'm going to go ahead and spin this wheel. I gave people time to jump in and throw some more comments in. So we have the wheel here that has the video numbers as well as the finale. That's exactly how they appear on the YouTubes. On the YouTubes. I'm going to shuffle these so Paul tells me to stop.
Oh, please stop.
So if you do not win, it is now Paul's fault. I cannot reiterate that enough. That would be Paul, Sector 2815, nominated for a Comic Community Award. So be sure to go to cbcawards.org and vote for Sector 2815, especially if you win this. So we're going to spin this and figure out what video we're going to pull this comment from. And then I'm going to have to work toward getting that set up. Looks like video number 7. It is video number 7. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to go find that video.
I got to bow out, guys. Thanks for having me on.
We appreciate you popping on, Chris.
Thank you, Mark.
It's been a minute. I'm glad to see you here. Video number 7. Where are you?
It's nice to come home. Good night, guys.
7. All right. Pause this so it doesn't yell at people. So what are y'all looking forward to this week?
Oof, there's so much stuff coming out this week. Gotham War continues. Transformers #1. If you're a Marvel person, God's #1 comes out this week.
Oh, what is that? I saw that with like Doctor Strange, like miniseries kind of thing.
Yeah, it's Jonathan Hickman, so expect it to be deep.
With a name like Hickman, it's got to be good.
Yeah, Transformers all the way for me. That was definitely my hot pick for the week. I'm excited to see that John Jang variant get shipped from Big Time Collectibles. We got Ghost Rider Annual I'm excited about for sure. Oh, here's those connecting covers. I forgot I had this in there. There you go.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah, I'm big excited for it. I do want to let everybody know that I've got a Big Time Collectibles $60 mystery box or monthly mystery box that video will come out on the channel tomorrow. And on Wednesday, I hit 2 comic conventions this week. And we had CanaCon here in Augusta. And then me and Pops rode to Columbia, South Carolina today and hit Chris's Vault Show, which is a comic and toy convention. Both fantastic. I picked up a lot of cool stuff today. Excited about sharing that. So that video will be coming as well. And again, as always, if you are a channel member, you can already watch tomorrow's video. It's been up for you for a while, and I'll get the CanaCon video out to everybody tomorrow night. So you remember, you can get all that content early as a thank you. Here we go.
Vader's out this week too.
Anything goes. Now it says anything goes because the comment picker I used to use, they charge you money to use it now. I'm not paying for it.
Oh, yeah.
The rule of it is you have to have said what book you like the most out of the video and left the hashtag. So if I pull a comment and it does not meet the criteria, we're pulling another comment because that's only fair, right? Does anyone disagree with that?
That sounds fair to me.
Sounds fair. AR said it's fair, so it's fair. So we're going to continue here. They're getting the comments. We have 39 comments. So y'all ready to see who wins this Catwoman 47, as my wife calls it, the whore cover? She just came in here and said, why is Catwoman dressed like a whore? My wife, whenever you see me mute and talk to my wife, there's always fantastic stuff happening. God bless her. So let's see who wins this bad boy. Good books. Doesn't meet the criteria. Good books and the hashtag. So we're ready to do it again. Let's see if we get it. That's some good slabs. I have to say, I love the Power Rangers one. Hashtag We Are Legion. So boom, going to Warlord. Huge shout out and congrats to Warlord. Nice. Another channel member, fantastic member of the community. So you just won Catwoman, issue number 47, the Nathan Zerdy slab. So there it is. Let me throw his name on that. Guys, you want to plug away what you have going on this week?
Sure. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock on my channel, we have the latest edition of DC Comics Deep Dive. We'll be taking a look at Batman, Catwoman, the Gotham War, Red Hood. And we have just a stellar outro. For those of you who have been watching us, we don't usually do very well, but we really nailed it this time. So
yeah, sometimes the outros just hit, don't they? I like it when we fumble them, but dude, we're shocked if we get a clean outro because we don't plan what we say. We just roll with it.
Well, I'm making. Go ahead, Andy.
Oh no, you go ahead, man.
Oh, I'm just making new videos where so what's his name? Thrawn's got a second in command. His name's Eli Vanto. And you don't see him except in the books, and every single time you hear him in the books, the guy's just doing a Jack Nicholson impression. So I've been answering phones like him, like, yeah, I'm stuck out here in the Chist Ascendancy. I'm trying to get back. I've been out here for 10 years. No, I don't want health insurance. So like that's coming out. Look for that on my channel soon.
That reminds me, I gotta watch the one you just recently uploaded, and you sent me the link, and I had it saved to my watch now list, but I'm really looking forward to that. What was it, car insurance or? Yeah,
it's a the Bad Batch are being sold car insurance.
Yeah.
And I tried to do all of the Bad Batch. You know, like I start as like the really creepy one, the sniper. Yeah. And then eventually become the big one. And they all have a conversation, and the person's just like, look, man, do you want car insurance or what? Like, I'm trying to figure out how many miles I got on my Dodge Caravan. Just hold tight. Record, go out there and look.
I'm looking forward to that. I forgot that I was supposed to watch that this weekend. I got really tied up. I've been coping with a cold all weekend long since that dip in temperature in Michigan threw me for a loop. But I cracked a new blaster box of Star Wars cards, got that all recorded, and I'm in the process of uploading everything throughout the week tonight. And I got through the Garbage Pail Kids cards, which have turned out to be pretty cool. Then Tuesday night, Comicx News Weekly, I'm really interested because we're going to touch on artificial intelligence again, because somebody used open source AI to create a Batman comic strip.
Mm-hmm.
With the thumb.
And it is terrible, yet there's a lot to chew on there, and there's a lot to talk about the legalities and everything, and how that's going to go out, because oh my god, like I have not seen that much of a response from this whole AI stuff until all of a sudden, wham, here it is, it's happening, and the amount of comments and shares going on Twitter and other places is absolutely insane. I want to talk about it because I want to hear more about what the comic community that we know here on YouTube thinks and feels about it. And we're gonna be ripping some more cards this week, like I said, and then Wednesday's new comic book day, as long as this cold kind of doesn't kick me in the tailpipes again.
Yeah, I haven't seen the comic strip yet, but I saw where somebody else put a post up, and God, their comment was hilarious on it. I'm not even gonna be able to find it, but they just had a close up of Batman's hand. It's like when you brag about your art but get caught using AI just for Batman's hand to look like a dildo.
Right.
Like, oh my god. And it did. Like, it made me stop and look like, yo, there's a head on it. That's not okay.
I gotta see this.
And there's two different versions of the car from panel to panel. It's the two different versions. Yeah.
Where do you find this book to look at?
I found it on, it's not even a book. It's like a 4-panel strip. And I found it on comicbookresources.com or cbr.com. It was a news article they posted. And I started digging deeper into it this weekend as I was kind of chilling out and reading.
I got to look at it.
It's not great, man.
Was the person like was it like known they were doing it? Like was
they posted it on Twitter. It was like, hey, open source AI, I used this and did this with it. And like the whole community is like, no, you just
why don't you stop doing that?
Yeah, pretty much the entire it's exactly the backlash you would think from the community, or what you would expect from the community for sure.
Yeah, I saw a post on YouTube, of all things, a YouTube post where someone was like, I'm not a huge fan of AI, but this Superman design, it looks awesome. And I just kind of like, AI never looks awesome. Like, it just doesn't. Like, cool, bro. Like, a person could have done that. Like, no.
I feel like for AI, whenever it's puts out one of these images, I feel like it should be able to cite all of the different things it's pulling from.
Yeah.
That's all I want from AI, is to be like, yeah, I'm doing Jim Lee, but it's kind of this and a little bit of that. And I ain't got the hands quite right. Like, that's at the bottom of all of the every single AI art that comes out.
Yeah, most of the time, dude, I saw like someone did one of like The Rock and something else, and he has his arm around the person, and there's like his arms here, his arms around the person, and then you see like 3 fingers where they're like AI put a second arm lower and shorter, like yo, there's more fingers hiding there. Like, There's always something weird
So-
with arms and hands.
Here's the scary thing that I thought about this weekend. This is a question I'm going to pose to the community and to the panel on Comicx News Weekly, which has an open rotating spot every week for anybody that wants to join and be a part of it. K-pop, Esteban, anybody in the chat, Joseph, that wants to be part of it. We rotate that seat weekly. Here's the question I have. Mark, if you wanted to write a novel, you could use a surname, right? Or you can use a pen name, right?
Sure.
So what's stopping an executive at Marvel for creating a pen name of their own and just debbing out comic books via AI in the future and not paying or hiring anybody to write it or to do the art, and it's under pen names?
Well, I would argue right now the people they are paying are using AI to write comics.
Well, I mean,
I get what you're saying.
How an
They
artist
just exclude actual talent altogether and just
how a
ChatGPT
writer
do
or
it.
an artist complete their job is not for me to. I don't have a dog in that race, so to speak. But what's stopping? I'm not going to throw a specific name in there. What's stopping an unscrupulous executive in one of the big two from creating a surname or a pen name for a writer or an artist and just having an AI bot do the work and then putting it out? And where are the legalities saying that they do or do not have to? There's no. You can create any pen names you want and write a book, and there's no legal reason that they've got to attribute that book to you or to a real person.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
I think that's like one of the biggest like fears of people in the industry. And like even like we saw the same thing happening with the writers, and that was part of their strike, is that the studios are allowing AI to come in and do massive script stuff, and then they want writers to come in and polish them. You want to do you want to let like the lion's share of the work be done for free and pay little to nothing for just basically editors, like come over and proofread this as a professional writer kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I would argue that Warner Brothers recently tried to do a lot more studio kind of like groupthink, trying to take these works and then run it through a filter of like a bunch of producers. And that's how you get like heirs being upset about they turned, my Suicide Squad into a music video. Someone else cut it. You released the Snyder cut, years of that of like, well, why did you guys kind of, committee this movie when it was a one artist vision? And after what I would say is like 10 years of them trying, they have recognized that, you got to get an artist to make art. And that's why they went to James Gunn with their hat in their hand.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm hoping that after all this stuff is like, I feel like the pushback against AI has been tremendous. Like from the people that are purchasing your product to the people that are creating your product, everyone across the board, except for the actual studio heads, don't want AI encroaching on creativity in any way, like as a consumer or as like someone who's creating. So hopefully they nip it in the bud fast. Like AI is obviously something that's not going anywhere, but there has to be a proper place and usage for it in whatever medium it's being worked in. And a writer and an artist, a computer is not, and never should it be. It's not meant, you don't mix creativity and Skynet. Like it's just common sense. Everybody knows that. And it always worries me when I see people in comments on these posts or in these videos that are in support of it. And it's like they're supporting it out of malice. They're like, these people haven't done nothing I liked, and who cares? Who cares? Like, like it's because you're only looking at a dot on the paper. Why don't you pan out and look at the whole paper about the stuff outside of Star Wars that you watch or enjoy that you like, or the stuff outside of superhero stuff you watch and enjoy and you like. Like you're going to see all of that go away if you allow this to continue on.
Alex Ross has a really good YouTube channel. And he did an interview recently talking about AI, and they presented with him like, here we asked someone to do, or we asked an AI to do pictures in the style of Alex Ross. Let's take a look at it. And they were trying to do, the photorealistic thing. And he tore it apart, explaining that this computer just, the time it would take for you to explain the hierarchy of importance to this art, you would spend so much time and money trying to ask it to get it right, to ask the perfect query, when all you could very much easier just go, hey, Alex Ross, will you draw this? And say exactly what you want to a human artist who can produce it. And like, when you look at what AI can do, I think there's a very good argument that the one thing it can't do well is art. That's the only profession safe.
But the downside of that is, like, you know, all those prompts, like right now it takes a lot of these prompts. But the thing is, every time you get the prompt in there, it's now there for the next person. Just like with science ingenuity, we always stand on the shoulders of the ones that came before us. It's the same way with a lot of this AI stuff. Once it's been developed and inputted in, it's kind of there, you know, and it's going to get to the point where you can just say, do it in the style of Alex Ross, and it will be able to populate everything that's been inputted into it, run it through like in a nanosecond, and put it out. Like, it's, give me an Alex Ross cover homage to the Godzilla action, and within a nanosecond, it can just Alex Ross that image. Just poof.
No, you're right. No matter what, it is always heading towards better and faster. But yeah, I would suggest everyone check out this, search Alex Ross AI. His interview on it is very, very interesting. And what he gives as an example is that when someone was trying to capture his work, they are often doing what you would see in his big cover page work, where it's way more detailed than what you would see in his interior. And he says, I only ever really give extreme detail to, for instance, like in my Kingdom Come book, he said, when little kids were looking at Superman, I would make him look so real to make it from their point of view. But I wouldn't spend all day long trying to get every little pore and, wrinkle on his face just right, unless there was a artistic reason I was trying to do that. And, no matter what, you're going to get better, faster results from discussing this with an artist who can collaborate with you instead of a machine that's just cold face going, what do you want, man? I don't know. Here's another one.
Yeah, I do think where we stand right now, I definitely think, like as Andy brought up, the writing aspect is in much murkier waters, and the artist stuff is much murkier. Chat GPT is wild.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We're going to leave it on that tonight, that we are all doomed. If you want reference to what our future looks like, just watch the ultimate masterpiece that James Cameron made called Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and you'll get a glimpse into what our future holds for us. And remember, because of Terminator 3, they didn't stop Judgment Day. They just prolonged it. So any day can be our last day. So live like it is, because you never know what will happen. Check out Sector 2815, Comic Man Andy, aggressively relaxing, and we will see all of you folks next week.